Why do some students perform better in science than others? Intelligence, family background, and teaching quality clearly matter. But could personality also make a difference? A recent international study examined whether qualities such as curiosity, perseverance, and emotional control are associated with science achievement, and whether these relationships differ across cultures. The researchers analyzed data from the 2022 Program for International Student Assessment, commonly known as PISA. Their sample included more than 213,000 15-year-old students from 30 countries. Because students were grouped within different national contexts, the researchers used multilevel modeling to examine both individual characteristics and country-level cultural differences. The study examined 7 personality-related traits. These were curiosity, perseverance, cooperation, empathy, assertiveness, stress resistance, and emotional control. These traits represent specific aspects of the broader Big Five personality framework. For example, curiosity reflects openness to ideas, while perseverance reflects conscientiousness. Emotional control and stress resistance represent aspects of emotional stability. The clearest finding was that curiosity had the strongest positive association with science achievement. Students reporting greater curiosity tended to obtain higher science scores. Perseverance and emotional control also showed comparatively clear positive associations. Assertiveness, empathy, and stress resistance were positively associated with achievement, although their relationships were smaller. The reported correlations were 0.19 for curiosity, 0.13 for perseverance, and 0.12 for emotional control. Assertiveness, empathy, and stress resistance had smaller correlations. These are modest relationships, not evidence that personality determines achievement. Nevertheless, small associations may still matter when they occur across very large student populations. Cooperation produced a very small negative correlation of -0.014. This is extremely close to zero, and should not be interpreted as evidence that cooperation harms learning. One possible explanation is that PISA measures individual test performance, whereas the value of cooperation may be more visible in group problem solving, practical experiments, and collaborative learning. The most distinctive part of the study concerned culture. The relationships between curiosity, perseverance, emotional control, and stress resistance and science achievement were stronger in more individualist societies. Such societies generally place greater emphasis on autonomy, individual choice, and self-directed action. In these settings, personal characteristics may translate more directly into study behavior and achievement. In more collectivist contexts, learning may be shaped more strongly by family expectations, teacher authority, social responsibilities, and shared support. These influences could reduce the extent to which differences in individual personality predict achievement. This does not mean that one cultural orientation is educationally superior. It means that personality operates within social and institutional environments. The findings therefore caution against applying the same personality-based intervention everywhere. Encouraging curiosity, perseverance, and emotional regulation may be useful, but teaching approaches should also reflect cultural context. In some settings, structured guidance, family engagement, and supportive peer networks may be just as important as strengthening individual dispositions. Several limitations must be recognized. Personality was self-reported, cultural response patterns may have affected the results, and the data were collected at one point in time. The study therefore identifies associations, not causal effects. It cannot show that changing personality would necessarily improve science scores. The central message is not that personality is destiny. Rather, curiosity, perseverance, and emotional regulation appear to be part of a much wider explanation of science achievement. Their importance depends not only on the student, but also on the cultural and educational environment in which learning takes place.